This video is going to be entirely about Sfumato. I want to give an introduction into how Sfumato is created. For that, we're just going to look at a few masterworks here. In the future, I will do a demonstration on this topic and actually show some of these techniques in practice. The general idea here is very simple. You need to have overlap. You need to create a smokiness, which means that things have to blend together. It has to be hazy, blurry. It's going to be crucial that you have things like this right here. This is the best example I can show. This is so great. Right in here, look at this. So what he's done is he's essentially created these separate forms. Like you have the form of the body, which we can follow here. And then you have the background. And the background is darker. We have some of the shadow. But then you see this transparent wash. Look at this. You can actually see the brushwork there. It makes it so clear that it's just this transparent sort of glaze where he's creating the same kind of color and texture as what he has here in the body. So this is carrying over and breaking up the line. That is the key to Sfumato. You're going to create this smokiness or haziness, and it's going to just drag over from background into foreground or across different elements. So again, right here, you see this blue. It's pulling from the background, same exact type of brushwork, and it's coming into the body. That is the one thing that you have to do, is you use basically the same kind of tone or the same color, and you're going to just pull it into both areas. I can't really explain it any more simply than that. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. One way to actually achieve this so that you're not kind of lost, I guess, in the colors is that you actually use the blending of colors. So, for example, this right here, you could get this same color and just blend it over using transparency, or the other option would be to use a combination of these colors, so you could mix them together and then put that directly in this area. The other part to this is that you need to have some areas where you do have separation, or at least some kind of definition, right? The only reason that this works down here and over here, the reason that we can just let this dissolve in this way is because we have these sharp lines and clarity in the other parts of the form. So you need to have some areas that are actually defined, and that way our eyes can kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak, and understand, okay, there's something separating now. So we have more clarity here where we want the focus to be drawn up to the face, and right here in the hand, look at these sharp definitions around the hand. That's crucial. Now we're going to look at Eugene Carrière, and this is just incredible. I mean, this is basically the same thing going on, but in my opinion, this is actually done in a much more masterful way. You see the same effect as we had with Munch, where the body was disappearing. Look right here. Okay, this is the same thing going on. The body is just fading into the background. It's left unclear. Some of this is fading, where we have, fabric, and then, oh, what is that? What is that? It's just some smoke or something hazy to indicate some of the background, and it just kind of dissolves together. This is something you see with Rembrandt all the time. You see this with Odd Nerdrum. The glow comes from treating this like it's overexposed. If you look at an overexposed photo, the edges are going to bleed out. You're going to have this sort of reflection where any kind of light is just shooting off. It's like it's shooting off the surface and into the surroundings. Now you can't use that everywhere, right? It would be very disturbing if this whole entire painting was treated that way. But in a few key areas you can use that, like right here in the hand. See how this is just kind of blending? It almost feels like there's some light rays in here because of that. The final point to make is in terms of focus. I've talked about this before. The focus, when it comes to Carrière, everybody thinks it's just soft everywhere, but that's not true. He's actually created a very strong focus. And by directing the focus in this way, it allows for all of these other soft effects to actually work. If he didn't have this strong focus in here, with the high contrast, the sharp highlight, more light in here, without this, it would just fall apart. You can't have everything be soft. The use of value is so important. It's going to create the glowing effect that makes Sfumato feel real. So it's kind of bigger than Sfumato, but at the same time, it's a major contributing factor to create the smoky effect. And that is using very small amounts of your high contrast values. If you're at a 1 or a 2 or a 9 or a 10, let's say, on your value scale, those should be used very rarely. You should be cautious with placing that, and it better have a purpose. So here we see we have a little bit of a darker value in here, a little bit right in here, and where do we have the sharp light? Right here, and especially right up here is going to be, basically the highest contrast, because we have this dark and then we have the light right here. It's similar with the baby, but in any case, we're going to be drawn right into this area, okay? And because the baby's face is more in the shadows, then naturally we're going to drift more towards the mother. So this is so important for creating the focus, and it's going to actually make these edges feel like they're bleeding out. If you had too high of contrast, and if everything was balanced in regards to contrast, or I shouldn't say balanced, but maybe just treated the same. If you had these 10 values and 1 values all throughout the background, then you had it over here and you had it in the hand, then this wouldn't be so powerful. If you want even more in-depth videos about classical painting or one-on-one mentorship, join me on Patreon, patreon.com/Nick Thurman. There I go more in depth about all of these subjects, and I also will answer any questions you have at all. Anything you want to see in a video, I will talk about, guaranteed. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.